This is out of the Des Moines Register, and this made national. Well, hell, this made worldwide news. It was really weird. Check this out: an Urbandale Care Center, Urbandale as we call it. People will look at that. Yeah, we got a community named Urbandale here. It was fined $10,000 for pronouncing death of a woman who was still alive. A continuing care home in Urbandale is being fined $10,000 after declaring one of its residents dead and transferring her to a funeral home in Ankeny, where she was found to, God, still be alive. Yeah, check this out. A report from the Iowa Department of Inspection and Appeal says the mistaken death declaration occurred on January 3rd after a staff member at the Glen Oaks Alzheimer's Special Care Center reported that the woman, 66, had died about 6 a.m. The report said the woman, who had early onset dementia, anxiety, and depression, well, okay, she wasn't dead, had been in the hospice care since December 28th. Now, the staff member reported she could no longer feel the woman's pulse and alerted a nurse practitioner who made the death declaration, the report said. Iowa law allows nurses and physician's assistants, in addition to doctors, to declare a patient dead. The report also said the woman previously had suffered minor seizures and showed signs of mottled skin, a sign of approaching death. Yeah, but she wasn't dead. It notes that among the staffers attending the woman was one who had worked a 12-hour overnight shift. Now, that's going to get into what I'm going to talk about here briefly at the end of this. Now, about 90 minutes after the woman was declared dead, she was taken to the Ankeny Funeral Home and Crematory in a zipped body bag, the report said. When she arrived, funeral home staff unzipped the bag and saw that her chest was moving, then called 911, it said. The Ankeny Fire Department responded to the call, which it said reported a person in apparent cardiac arrest. That proved incorrect, the department said, and the woman was taken to Mercy West Lakes Hospital, where she was found to be breathing, though unresponsive. She was returned to hospice care, where she died January 5th. According to the Department of Inspections and Appeals report, the agency found the Urbandale Care Center had failed to provide adequate direction to ensure appropriate cares and services were provided regarding the declaration of the woman's death. And you've heard me talk about this on the podcast before. I mean, we reside here in the heartland, in one of the oldest states demographically in the country. And we got to start taking care of these old people because we're all headed that way. A lot of us are anyway. And these people in these care facilities need to get paid a hell of a lot more than they are. The ownership of these companies are getting mega rich, and they're not paying the people that work there enough that they don't have to work 12-hour overnight shifts like that nurse and make mistakes like what was made here. So, and the governor here was sitting on what, $1.5 billion. I mean, that would have been an excellent use for this, to take a leadership position in the country for and somehow rewarding and incentivizing people to work in these care centers and take care of these folks, which are going to, maybe the odds are it's going to be you and I. And if you beat the odds, good for you. But if you don't, you might end up with your last minutes on this earth in a zipped body bag, if you can imagine that. Okay, so that's what in the hell story number one. Let's